Here tonight to share his powerful story of survival and hope is Alex, a successful father who found his first home with Hope Solutions as a teen at Garden Park Apartments many years ago. Please help me welcome Alex.
I came into this country with my mother and my younger brother when I was 2 years old. My brother was a baby, of course. I don't remember that time. But I learned that my mother had brought us here after years of abuse by her husband, my father. She was a strong woman and had to learn to live with a lot of conflict, but when he began to threaten me and my baby brother, my mother knew she had to leave in order to protect us. At the time, there were no protections for women and children in her situation where we lived at the time. This was a big sacrifice she made for us, and I will always be thankful for that, even though our lives were very hard for a long time. Before we came here, we had a big house to live in, a big yard to play in, and my mother was a successful and respected nurse. She also had a taxi business that was very successful, but we had to leave all that behind. Living in California, we moved frequently and were homeless many times. We lived in shelters with friends and in dangerous situations over the years. My mother worked 2 jobs to get us food and clothes, but housing was always expensive for us. I remember many things about this time. We didn't have privacy. At one shelter we stayed, each family was given a tent, and we had to leave and return at certain times. The bathrooms were often shared and messy. I remember my mother waking up early morning and scrubbing them to make them clean for me and my brother to use. She was worried because a lot of people were getting sick. Meals were only served at certain times, and if you missed them, you went hungry. The food wasn't too fresh, and this kind of life kind of felt like prison. I once asked the chef at one of the shelters if he could make us ratatouille. I didn't know what it was, but I saw it in the movie and was very interested in it. It took some time for him to get the ingredients, but he made it, and I still remember that dish. I had a lot of anger issues as I was growing up. I got into a lot of trouble at school. I didn't do any of my homework, and I fought with other kids. I didn't want to move all the time, and it was hard for me to always be the new kid on the block. I was as active as I could be in sports, but I had to take care of my little brother when my mom was working, and I felt like I couldn't hang out with my friends or be a regular kid. Luckily, there were people who were helpful along the way. When I was in 6th grade, I made friends with the wrong sorts, and I was thinking of joining a gang. One day, I got picked up for hanging out. I was 12 years old, sitting in the back of the police car. The police officer asked me what were my interests, and I had seen many people skateboarding and been interested in that. So I told him, and he had asked if he got me a skateboard, I would stay away from the gang kids. So he followed through, and for the next 3 years of my life, I spent skateboarding everywhere, and I loved it and didn't join the gang. When I was in 7th grade, I met this girl, Sharina, who decided I was the one for her. I was shy and felt awkward with her attention, but we stayed in touch and gradually became close. When I was 16, my mother was accepted into Garden Park's housing with Hope Solutions. Me and my brother and my mother had moved all of our possessions in crates and boxes and came to a new city, a new school. We were amazed to have our own place. We had our own beds, we could set our own bedtimes, and we even had a kitchen to cook our food whenever we wanted. It felt like a dream come true, like a luxury. That's all that we ever prayed for. I didn't like the new school though. I stopped going, and a police officer once again came to our door. Told my mom that I had to go to school. The support staff at Garden Parks offered resources like tutoring and job skill classes, but the conflicts that me and my mother had were too much. I was 18 and Sharina and I had been able to stay together and in touch with all the moves, changes over 2 years. In June of 2014, we welcomed our first child, Ivy Rose. Sharina was living with her family, and I was visiting her and my daughter as often as I could. I wanted to go to work and support my young family. My mother told me that if I didn't go to school, I had to leave. I decided to leave in order to work and support my family and respect my mother's rules, so I was once again homeless. I moved in with a friend's family and managed to finish high school. I got a job at Safeway as a barista. I didn't know what it was, but I liked coffee. I spoke with my mother and she let me come back home. I was planning to get a place of my own for Sharina and Ivy. I worked and spent time with Sharina and Ivy as much as possible. After a while, I was accepted as an apprentice in a butcher's training program at Safeway. It was difficult living with my mother and my brother in a small apartment and to be so far away from my family. The Hope Solutions staff wanted to help us, so they helped me and my brother move into our own apartment. We were both working, and after a short while, Ivy and Sharina joined us. Our second daughter, Hazel Amari, was born in 2019. Since that time, Sharina and I both have worked as much as possible while caring for two beautiful girls. Sharina was laid off an airport job due to COVID, but we're hoping that she'll be able to return soon. When I think of all the times that I have moved as a child, I am determined to give my daughters a stable, happy childhood. Without affordable housing, that would not be possible. I'm so grateful for the housing and support my family has received with Hope Solutions over the years. I could have gone a dark road, but thanks to affordable housing and support of people like you, I am a now proud father and a partner with a family and a career. I will always be hungry for the next step and always be at the ready when life hits you with the downs. Thank you for giving us what we need to make it this far.
Thank you, Alex. There are no words to express how grateful we are to you for inspiring us with your courage. We're all so moved and in awe of you.
It was an honor. The resources that Hope Solution offers are amazing. My family is so grateful for the support that we have received. Thank you so much.